So what's up guys, it's Dyson Deepas again with the crew. Sadly today we are missing one member, so in memory of Final Heaven, and no, he's still alive. he's just he's just not able to join us in our podcast today. So in memory of Final Heaven, that's him below there in a very amazing picture. So we have two people now that has no webcam. So we have Graduation Boy transformed into a Cyberpunk 2077 human over there, Jebol, and down below me is Long Panda with this beautiful Keanu Reeves impersonation. And of course, to my what's this left of my screen is Kwepoy in his traditional amazing office. So this video is sponsored by OnlyFans. I'm just joking. That's okay. So this is the die is cast episode 2, our weekly podcast. It's a little bit late, so sorry about that. So we will be covering a week and a half of news. So with that, let's start off with our weekly news recap. So our first news for the week, which is in August 10 to up to today, which is August 19. So that would be Xiaomi released the Neo Geo Mini, which has also been out in the European and most of the Asian countries already back in 2018. But because Xiaomi has now offered the Neo Geo Mini on their European platform, more people can access and actually buy the revival of the Neo Geo Mini by SNK. So this one has the original 40 titles that was included in the first launch back in 2018 as a, of course, celebration of the 40th anniversary of SNK. It has an included controller. So there you go. If you want to go and check out the product listing or the store listing, you can go check out our article right here. We have linked the store page over there. So that's one of our first news for last week. And then we also have the official launch of Hyperscape on PC and console. So they're out of open beta and they've entered season 1. Final Heaven, Kwepoy, and Jebol and I have been playing this title for quite a while now. So we really enjoy it. So with season 1 comes their very first battle pass, including two new additions to the game, which is one new hack and one new weapon, which I think is the Dragonfly for the weapon and the Magnet hack. I haven't actually tried the game when it launched yet, so I don't know how the Magnet hack or the Dragonfly weapon works. But there you go. So Hyperscape is now out on PC and consoles. Then I will have Jebol recap the reveal by Rainbow Six Siege. So what's up with this one, Jebol?
So basically, the upcoming season of Rainbow Six Siege greatly changes Siege's meta due
Okay.
to so much quality of life changes. So the first change, which is um pretty normal in each season, is the new operator. But it's different from other season since only one operator is being released from now on. So for Operation Shadow Legacy, the new operator is a fan favorite video game protagonist, which is Sam Fisher from the Splinter Cell series. He's
Yeah.
codenamed as Zero as he joins the Team Rainbow, and he's an attacker. So basically, his gadget is a pistol that fires off cameras that stick to walls, either soft walls or hard walls, in which he can view both sides if it's a soft wall and just one side if it's a hard wall. And that's really strong since only a select number of attackers have access to cameras, and he can place his in any surface, wall, ceilings, floors. And for the other changes that brings the biggest meta changes, yeah, is the addition of new new gun sights. So there's another versions of the holographic and the red dot sight. But the biggest game changing ones are um the addition of the magnified scopes. So instead of ACOG, just ACOG, which a lot of people rely on since it's a very OP site, we have a wide variety of magnified sites. So the ACOG is now being renamed to the 2.5x, and there's gonna be 1.5, 2, and 3x. So it greatly buffs a number of weak operators and nerfs a number of strong operators.
Well,
And
that's a lot
then
of changes coming to Shadow Legacy.
yeah,
All right.
and then the other change is a quality of life improvement for the defenders. So it's called the reinforcement pool. So before in Siege, there are just two reinforcements for each defender to use. So for the reinforcement pool,
Mm-hmm.
there as you may know before in Siege, each defender has two reinforcements. So it causes issues for defenders that go AFK or quit or get disconnected or basically don't reinforce at all. So it causes a big disadvantage for the defenders. So for the reinforcement pool change, the entire team has access to 10, the all 10 of the reinforcements. So
Mm.
anyone can use those 10 reinforcements. So if there's someone who AFKs or just runs out of sight because I don't know why they do that. The
Yes.
remaining ones can reinforce what's left.
Okay, so you
And
no longer have individual reinforcements. It's more of a team pool of reinforcements. Am I correct?
yes,
All right.
and the last quality of life change is the secondary hard breacher. So before, only a few select attackers can destroy metal walls. So Thermite, Hibana, Ace, and Maverick. Now, a secondary hard breaching tool is being added to a few operators, but it
Hmm.
has a significantly smaller blast, so it's enough to just produces a crouch hole or a vault hole, and it takes a really long time as it's breaching. So operators, defenders can still try to counter that, but it's a good addition if you you don't have a hard breacher on your team. So
Nice.
basically, that's all the changes for Operation Shadow Legacy.
That's a lot. So we can expect a whole bunch of new stuff when Shadow Legacy goes live. Do we have a release date for the new season? Have they announced the release date for this? Not yet.
No release date, but it's now in the testing server.
Okay, so
Usually, these operations take 3 weeks of testing before they get released officially.
all right. So as people can still try it out now, so you can test the Shadow Legacy new season for Rainbow Six Siege. Right. Thank you, Jebol. So let's move on to a kind of different type of gaming news. So Paradox, the makers of grand strategies like Crusader Kings, has created a new independent multiplayer system. They've partnered with what do they call? They partnered with Nakama with by Heroic Labs. So they've created a new multiplayer system wherein players from different systems, well PC systems, can now play with other players from different PC systems. So Mac can play with Windows, Windows can play with Linux and all that. And you can also play together with other people that bought the versions of the game from different stores. So Steam version is now compatible with the Paradox version and also with the GOG version and all that. So basically, we now have a PC cross-play platform for Paradox Interactive's games. The first game they featured to have this multiplayer system will be Imperator Rome, and then other games will follow. I think CK3 or Crusader Kings 3 will have the system on launch. So you don't have to worry where you bought the game or what kind of PC operating system you have. You will be able to play with other players. So this is a very nice touch from Paradox Interactive to bring together their gaming player base. So that's a nice bit of news. And then on August 11th, we got the latest patch for Final Fantasy XIV, which is Reflections in Crystal. It has a whole bunch of changes. You can check out our article bringing down or laying down the changes that we have here. A quick summary of what patch 5.3 brought about. There's a lot, including the last, I think that's the last scenario quest for Shadowbringers, which brings the latest expansion to a close story-wise. But the biggest news for this patch would be that the free trial is now extended to level 60. So free players can now play the game up to level 60, which includes the story for A Realm Reborn, the base game, and the first expansion, which is Heaven's Sword. So you can now play the game up until level 60, which brings us to a whole lot of features, including 3 extra playable jobs for free players, which is the Dark Knight, the Astrologian, and the Machinist. And you can also have a new playable race, the Aura. So you can head on over and the update is live, so the free players can now enjoy this feature from, I think it stopped at level 35 before, so you can now enjoy up to level 60, and then the base game and including the first expansion. So very big news for Final Fantasy 4 14 fans. So there you have it. And then at that same day, Troy, a Total War Saga was released in the Epic Game Store. It's an Epic Game Store exclusive for now until it releases on Steam next year. We don't have a definitive release date yet, but it's in 2021. So, Total War Saga Troy became free for the first 24 hours. So, I hope those of you who tuned in to the launch was able to grab the game. I'm actually testing it out, so I will be releasing my thoughts on the game maybe in a few days. I'm still working on the kinks and learning what new features they added ever since the Total War Saga Britannia. So I think this is not a main title for the Total War Saga. It's more of like a continuation of their subspecies genre, whatever, for the Total War series. So this is not a main game, but there you have it. That's Total War Saga Troy. And then, in a surprise announcement by Aspyr Media, they have completed the port of Civ 6 or Sid Meier's Civilization 6 on Android. So, last time I checked, I wasn't able to access the game on my phone here in the Philippines, maybe because they're working out some bugs that was reported upon launch. So, you may or may have the chance to play it now. I'm not so sure if they've opened it up, but most Android devices have been reported to not work with the game, so maybe they're crashing bugs if yours is not available for download. So maybe wait for a few more days, hopefully. It's a try for free game, so for the first 60 turns, you'll be able to play the Civ 6 before the game notifies you that you have to buy the whole package. So it's the same as the iOS version we've already have ever since 2018. And then you also have the expansions that are already available for Civ 6. So you can enjoy Civ 6 on your Android phone now. And then probably the biggest news that came out of last week was Epic Games War with Apple and Google. So Epic Games probably, well, biggest title, Fortnite, was removed from the Apple App Store and Google Play Store because of uh, agreement, a violation of the agreement when it comes to in-app purchases. So Google and Apple, or the industry standard, is that you have a 30% increase in payments for in-app purchases. So V-Bucks are a lot more expensive on mobile than what you could typically buy, I think, on the PC version. So Epic tried to install their own in-app purchase platform to their mobile Fortnite titles, giving as much as 20% discount for people who want to buy V-Bucks. So of course that was a violation of the agreement that they signed with Apple and Google. So what in retaliation, Apple and Google removed Fortnite from the Play Store and the App Store, and then which prompted Epic to file for a lawsuit against the two giants, stating that they're like monopolizing the market and such. So this is actually one thing we want to talk about, and for our discussion, we'll actually be talking in our native language or what we call Taglish. So we might be speaking in Tagalog too. So if we have any important statements, I will try to put on subtitles down below, but it may be a little hard to understand us for our international viewers. So anyway, so crew, what's our take on the Epic v Google and Apple debacle? So
Yeah, okay, it's just for PR. I think it's just for PR at this point. It was a planned move. Definitely, they had an ad ready. The is it called
yeah, correct.
1984?
Yeah, the 1984. Yes, yes, the ad
Yeah,
that's attacking Apple's launch of the Mac. I think. Yeah.
yeah. It's completely for PR. I think. So it's a planned move. The 30%, um, the 30% cut for Apple whenever there are in-app purchases is an industry standard. So other companies aside from Apple and Google also use that. And then
Yeah. So
yeah, it's just it's for me at least it's just for PR
so
at
it's
this point.
yeah PR stunt basically to boost. I don't know, maybe boost Fortnite more. But Fortnite is already huge, not only on mobile but on PC. So I don't know what Epic's move here. And then maybe they're losing money for giving away all those free games on the Epic Game Store.
Oh,
Not that.
it's weird that they're using their player base with all their Fortnite propaganda against Apple. It's like
Ah.
they're no saints themselves.
Well, yeah, but it is their biggest player, the game with their biggest player base. So I think Apple has it's given Epic a 2 week ultimatum starting back in August 14. So if they do not remove the 20% discount that they implanted, Apple will be removing the developer rights of Epic on all of their platforms, which is on the iOS and Mac OS. So that means Epic will have a harder time creating changes to their apps that are in Mac and iOS. So the ultimatum is in 2 weeks. So Epic has until the 28th to remove their 20% update to in-app purchases. So that's the latest of what's been happening against Epic v Google and Apple. I don't know if Google has taken any drastic actions. The last I've heard was that they removed Fortnite on the Google Play Store, but the bigger battle is happening between Epic and Apple in here. So yeah,
Uh,
that's been okay.
yung,
Go ahead,
yung,
Kepo.
with regards sa ultimatum, I think affected din yung mga gumagamit ng uh, Unreal Engine. So yung mga developers
Hmm.
din
Okay.
na gumamit doon sa mga kanyang mga apps, hindi na rin makakapag-update dun sa may mga iOS. So hindi lang Epic Games ang maapektuhan if ever.
Also, if pag tinanggal ng Apple yung kanilang yung license ng Epic, not only Epic is affected, so pati yung ibang
Oo, kasi
gumagamit ng
kung tama yung nabasa ko last time, apektado rin yung Unreal Engine which is proprietary sa Epic
Mhm.
Games kung tama nga.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So that's huge too. So if ever Epic loses their developer rights to Mac OS and iOS, so that's what Kwepoy was explaining, that Unreal Engine will also be affected on the iOS and Mac OS platforms. So not Epic is not the only one that has something to lose in this. If ever if it is a PR stunt battle that may become really serious. So I don't
Um,
know.
uh, Another thing is that Epic is framing their fight against Apple
Yeah.
as supporting indie developers because the 30% cut is very high, especially if you're a developer or a company that's starting out. So I think the fact
Uh-huh.
that they also own Unreal software, or if it's part of their proprietary software, also plays a role in that.
I see.
But then the question would be, why aren't they going against the industry as a
Yeah,
whole?
the entire why
Why are they just
only
why just Apple? Why just Apple?
and Google?
Like
Why just Apple and Google? Yeah, why
it's a
only the two?
standard in
And
the
Steam
industry.
actually.
Yeah.
We have Fortnite on Steam, right? Meron sa Steam. Tama ba ako?
No, there's no Fortnite
Wala,
on
Ay,
Steam,
joke
wala
lang.
but
ata
It's
sa
Epic
Steam.
Games.
Just
Yeah,
an
it's an
Epic.
Epic
It's just an
Games.
Epic.
they're attacking Steam through their Epic exclusives.
Oh, okay.
Which
And
is
But
their same reason is the 30% cut. But that's
on PC.
on PC, yes.
But they do have their own store. So are they also included in that 30%?
No, they're just 12%.
Oh, so any
oh,
developer
okay.
that puts a game in Epic Games Store will only have a 12% increase in price.
Yeah,
For
they
Is that
their
just get
right?
transactions.
12% of their transactions.
Well,
Ah,
I
okay.
think yun nga yung hatak nila dati. Ah,
Yeah,
yun
mababa
yung
kasi yung ano
yun yung
Oh.
pinlalaban nila sa Steam. Mas mababa yung kanila.
for
Although,
developers.
But
So,
the issue with that is they're attacking specifically Steam, while Sony, Nintendo, and Microsoft for the Xbox all use the 30% industry standard.
same.
Yeah, if you want to push for greater change within the industry, why not just go against everyone, right?
Yeah.
Why just
Yes.
Apple?
Maybe that's because they're the biggest names in the industry, or in the mobile platform. Well, Apple and Google is the duopoly there, and then we have Steam as their biggest competitor on PC when it comes to the store platform. So maybe that's why.
well, if they do win, kung sakali mang manalo sila dyan sa case
Lawsuit.
nila sa Apple, and I highly doubt mananalo sila dahil industry standard yan.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
It would be a good precedent for the
changing
change
the
in
yeah
changing the industry
changing the
standard. So
landscape of the 30%.
in essence, it would be
To be
good,
fair,
but
that industry standard doesn't just apply to video games. Any other software that uses a third party store
So
gets a
meaning
30%.
yeah.
so yun nga, magiging precedent siya na magbago yung standard natin. So, possible na masyado na nga mataas sa current times ang 30%. Baka nga kailangan baguhin. Yung pamamaraan man nila questionable. Pero if and only if manalo sila,
Yeah.
highly doubtful ako.
Yeah, alam mo naman Apple.
Malakas ang
Malalim ang
binangga
bulsa.
nila.
Pati Google pa. So, I mean, Google not only controls the App Store, it also controls Android, which is used by a whole lot of brands except Apple. So, you know.
Uh,
They're a multi-billion dollar company. So,
They are. So, well, maybe if it is a PR stunt, it's good for the indie devs, the small devs. If there will be a shift in the industry standard 30%, so
I'm
maybe that will be easier for them to push out their programs or games.
I'm surprised that they have a lot of money because of all their free games in Epic Games Store.
I
I
mean,
And
it's Fortnite.
Fortnite,
It's
yeah,
a
but
money making
it's
machine.
money
it's not
cow.
just that. It's not just that though. It's also their Epic exclusives because as far as I know,
That's lightning, I think. Or
as
thunder,
far
yeah.
as
It's raining. It's
as
raining in the
far as
Philippines.
I know, for the Epic exclusives deal,
Uh-huh.
in which it will be exclusive in the Epic Game Store for 1 year, they have
They
Epic Games
pay.
they
They pay the
paid the
devs. Yeah.
sales, the total sales the game will possibly
Oh,
have for a year. That's why a lot of devs accept it. So that's a
yeah.
lot of money if it's the total sales.
Out the drain, yeah, without. Oh, that's also yung example lang natin. The biggest example would be Total War Troy, which was even released as a free title for 1 day, and then Steam will get it like 2021, still in 2021. So you have Epic has a year to hold on to that title.
Additionally, they have a lower cut in
Yeah,
software,
mas
which is
mababa yung cut
12%.
doon.
So is that how much money Fortnite makes?
Maybe
Probably.
because
I mean, I
yeah,
think it's the biggest game in the world right now,
yeah,
right? Or is it
Probably.
LOL?
you're
Uh,
earning. They're earning not only on PC, they're also earning well before Fortnite was removed on the App Store and Google Play. So that's three platforms they are getting sales from.
And then they also have the PS4 and the
Oh
Xbox
yeah, yeah,
versions,
yeah.
right?
They also have consoles. Exactly.
so
Yeah.
pati yung I think the use of their engine, they also have a cut
Oh
on
yeah,
that.
that too.
Although I'm
Oh
not sure
yeah.
if they changed their policy. I think they made it so that they will only get royalties after the developer, I think, na makaipon siya ng 1 million, I think, or
So
kumita ng 1 million.
may threshold. So parang after
Oo, parang
Oh.
ganun. So basically free, quote unquote free, I think, parang ganun.
so 1 million onwards saka lang mababayaran ng Epic. Something like
Double
that.
check ko yun, pero parang ganun yun, nabasa ko dati.
Wow. So you have to really question where the hell does Epic get all its money. So is Fortnite really that huge of a milking
Ayan,
of a money
okay,
cow?
so ito, isang article ng unrealengine.com last June 15. So, winave nila yung royalties
Uh-huh.
nila for first 1 million in gross revenue.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah, okay, tama. So afterwards
Tama naman.
saka lang
afterwards lang
magkakaroon ng
sila,
kita.
ano. So,
That's huge.
sa wala, I'm not sure kung magkano kinikita nila dati sa revenue nila sa Unreal Engine. Pero kung the fact na winave nila to,
Must be huge.
malaki na ang
Yeah,
kinikita nila.
must be huge. So, maraming ang pera. I think Epic has a lot,
Yeah.
lot to throw
Okay, alright.
away.
So, I looked up Epic Games on Google, and it appears they're owned by Tencent.
100%, 100% ba?
Wait,
Really?
legit?
Wait.
Are they owned or parang
Wait.
ano lang, shareholder lang ng Tencent?
Yeah, I'm checking.
Yes. That's an old news that they are owned by Tencent. That's why a lot of people had issues with the Epic
So-
exclusivity because
So, go long.
Go.
because Epic Game Store, as said by many, is being disguised as a Chinese spyware. That's why
40%.
Yeah,
That's
40%
why-
Tencent, 50%
Oh my
Tim Sweeney.
God.
because imagine this, you're putting your the only way to buy something from the Epic Game Store is through a credit card, and you're gonna
Really?
yes, they don't have
they don't
credit.
they don't have credits. Wala silang credits.
Right.
That's why people have issues with the Epic exclusives, because to buy it they need to use their credit cards, and there's been a lot of reports that their accounts have been hacked since Epic Game Store does not have good security, in addition to being owned by a Chinese
Company, yeah.
company. So
Tencent
there's lots
owning
of
stuff left and right.
sketchy stuff with the Epic Game Store, not just wanting to be on Steam. There's a whole deep
Lot,
sketchy.
yeah. Maybe we can have that as a topic for another time. We delve into how the hell Epic got this big in the industry, apart from Fortnite. All right,
I
so
think long time player naman nata sila sa industry, so hindi naman nabago
yeah.
ang Epic.
So
Games.
sila before Fortnite, ano ba, Unreal ba yung kanilang ano?
Unreal, alam ko kanila.
Unreal
has
been
Unreal.
yes.
Yeah.
So,
Their Epic Games are actually the original makers of the Gears of War series.
Talaga? Before they were handed out to they only gained
Interesting.
immense popularity because of Fortnite. Maybe.
yeah, matindi yung spike sa popularity nila.
yeah.
Pero malaking company sila even before.
Okay,
Or
so
honestly,
according to an
go,
article
go.
of Forbes, the estimated revenue of Fortnite in 2019 was $1.8 billion.
Shams.
So,
Casual
a lot of
1.
money. It's their golden cash
Yeah,
cow.
it is their cash cow.
To be fair, Fortnite existed 1 year before the Battle Royale move, and it didn't gain any traction.
Well, they have to
Oh.
thank PUBG.
Yeah,
Because
PUBG
popularized the genre,
pushed
then
forward the genre.
then Fortnite just became a huge
Then
hit.
the huge shit.
Yeah.
And then suddenly we all have this battle royale craze.
For those that don't know, Fortnite was originally a zombie survival game.
Yes, that's the main game, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
before
that's
it
the main.
bago siya nag-cut off into the battle
So
royale that it is.
so now that's the side game. The main game is the battle royale.
What a 360!
Yeah, gotta get that
360.
cash money.
Mhm. There's the man. That's where the man is at. All right. So that's what's been happening with the Epic v Google and Apple, which was technically our biggest news of last week. All right. So moving on, Redmi has now released their very first gaming laptop. So Redmi is a sub brand of Xiaomi, which is a very huge brand of from China. Not only sells cell phones, they also sell appliances and a whole bunch of stuff that you can think of. They have a rice cooker, they have a scooter, they have bags, they have shoes, they have everything. They're like a very big super mall or something like that.
Yeah,
So
they have bicycles.
yes, they also have bikes. So there you have
I
it.
mean,
So
if for para sa mga taga Pilipinas, kung alam
yes,
niyo CDR King,
for the Philippines.
basically CDR King.
Yeah, CDR King plus
Chinese
ano,
CDR King.
Chinese CDR King. Yes, for our now that's it. Yun. So Redmi, the sub brand for Xiaomi, was focused on mobile phones for the better half of their existence ever since I think 2017 or 2017 or 2018. Now they're entering the gaming laptop market. So the Redmi G is their very first gaming laptop. It went on sale yesterday, I think, which was August 18. So the Redmi G is powered by Intel's 10th generation core series. So that's the i5 and the i7 10th gen. And then we have the 1650 and 1650 Ti, depending on what variant we'll be getting as the GPU. For their most affordable variant, that would be a 60 hertz refresh rate display. That's at CNY 4,999. Direct conversion to the Philippine peso, that's 35,000. And then for the US dollar, that's around 719 USD. So the next variant would be the Intel Core i5 10300H with the 1650 Ti and 144 Hz refresh rate display. That's at CNY 5799 or around 40,000 for the Philippines and around $834 in the US. And for their highest end one, which has the the Intel Core i7 10750H, that has the 1650 Ti, 144 Hz display. That would be for CNY 6599, which is around 47,000 in the Philippines, and $949 for the USD. So we have a full HD 16 by 1 inch display, which is an unconventional ratio of display, probably the first we've seen because we mostly have a 14 inch, a 15.6, or a 17.3. So 16.1 is rather weird. I don't know how that looks in the flesh, but they do have slim bezels for this laptop. So there you have it, RGB of course, and then you have for the inputs and outputs, you have two USB 3.2 ports, one USB 2.0, a USB Type C, mini display port, HDMI 2.0, Ethernet, and a 3.5mm audio port. So there you have it. That's the Redmi G. It went on sale yesterday, yeah, in China. So I don't know when they would bring this in the Philippines, if they will bring it in the Philippines or other countries. I'll try contacting our friends over at Redmi for our Filipino viewers and ask them if they will launch the Redmi G here in the Philippines. So there you have it. That's the Redmi G, the first entry into the gaming laptop scene of Redmi. Then we have the local launch of the ROG Phone 3 in the Philippines, which happened back in August 15. They have their whole presentation up in their Facebook page, which featured one of our local rappers, so rapping the SRP of the ROG Phone 3. So the ROG Phone 3 is basically the upgrade to the ROG Phone 2. So you have better internals, upgraded gimmicks, and all of that. So you can check out our article. So for the details of the ROG Phone 3, it has three variants coming out in the Philippines. So you have the classic edition, two classic editions, and the Strix edition. So the classic edition has the Qualcomm. One sec, let me put it down here. So we go. You have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus CPU, along with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. That's the most expensive variant of the RG Phone 3, at priced at 54,995. It has bundles that you usually see with the ROG phone series, and then you have the lower variant of the classic edition, which has 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage for 49,995. And then you have the Strix edition, which has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865, not the plus one, with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage, priced at not too bad actually at 39,995. So there you have it. So that's the ROG Phone 3. They're now out. It's now on pre-order or pre-purchase up until August 22, which will give anyone who order a limited ROG special hoodie and an ROG phone bag. So that's what you see here in this picture. So that's what you'll get if you buy the phone until August 22nd. So, and then for our Nintendo news, we have Jebol and Long Panda looking at what was revealed yesterday during the Indie World showcase. So I'll be passing the mic over to Long Panda.
Okay, so this is yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
August 18, 2020. Nintendo had an Indie World showcase, and it presented more than 20 indie games going to Nintendo Switch, as well as some updates to already existing indie games. So I'll just read some of the interesting games here. The first is Hades. So they had some announcements related to Hades and its gameplay. It's a dungeon crawler game. It plays a lot like Transistor. And then another game that I found interesting was Raji, an ancient epic. So
Yeah.
it's based on Hindu mythology. I think it's very interesting because not a lot of games are based on South Asian mythology, so it should be a welcome addition to that genre.
And yeah, and I also think the devs are also from India, if I'm correct.
Oh,
Devs are
I'm not
also,
actually sure.
yeah, the devs. I've watched the stream last night. Well, before I went to sleep while watching it. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Nintendo and the indie world, that I slept through the showcase last night. I was tired from editing a video. So, but yeah, I think the devs are also from India. So you have an authentic take on the mythology on that. So really interesting title. Go ahead.
So there are a lot of other games that were announced. I won't go through all of them, but if you want the full list, you can check out Nintendo's website. So that's indieworld.nintendo.com. But aside from these new announcements for these new games, there were also updates to existing games. Probably the most notable was an update, a free update to Untitled Goose Game.
Oh
So it's
yeah.
now going to have a two-player mode. So you get to run around as two geese.
Nothing like running around as a
But and
as a goose.
aside from these updates, there's also an indie world sale. So select indie games on the Nintendo Switch are on sale, so that's up to 40% off. Some of the games include Exit the Gungeon, Streets of Rage
Oh, that's
4, and
nice.
Ori
That's
and the
nice.
Blind Forest.
Ooh,
There's
beautiful
a lot
game.
more again, so for the full details, check out Nintendo's website.
Yeah, so this sale will run until the end of the month. So you have about 11 more days to take advantage of that. I think Jabal really enjoyed one trailer from that reveal last
It's
night, which
just
was
it's just the Nintendo Switch version of Subnautica, the
yeah,
recent expansions,
Ooh.
or I think
yeah,
it's a expansion, Subnautica Below Zero, that releases
yeah.
in 2021.
Yeah, so there you have it. And then I think we will also get Torchlight 3 on the Switch along with this announcement. So Torchlight, I don't know if they're out of early access on Steam, but it's been released on Steam for quite a while now. So at least we're getting Torchlight 3 also on the Nintendo Switch. Right, let's move on to the last news that we've caught up before today, our podcast day, which is tada, the release of Genshin Impact. So, a very hotly anticipated MMO RPG, which is now, I think, will release on every platform. Yes, including mobile.
Wait, MMO talaga?
Yeah, Genshin Impact. I think Genshin Impact's an MMO, right? Oh, am I wrong? So we'll be double checking. I know Genshin Impact is an MMO. Yeah,
As far as I recall, para siyang
I
quote-unquote
think.
rip-off ng Breath of the Wild.
Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, it
Nakikorek na din
is
ako kung
maybe. Yeah, it is. It is from the closed beta of people. It is. It just looks like an MMO, but it is a single player. Uh, yeah, single player title. So sorry about that. Anyway, thanks for correcting me, Kwepoy. So, Genshin Impact will release September 28th for mobile and PC. So, yes, we're getting it on Android and iOS too. So, there's already a pre-registration for that on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store as well as the PC. So, PS4 release date will be announced later in the year or whatever, but you do have a chance to pre-register for it now if you've been looking to play something in the lines of, as Kwepoy mentioned, Breath of the Wild. So there you have it. You have Genshin Impact September 28th. So you can pre-register for that
are
now.
these the devs of Honkai Impact 3?
Yeah, they are MiHoYo.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's MiHoYo. Yeah,
Okay.
MiHoYo.
So
They
that's
are the
why.
devs of Honkai Impact and a few other notable mobile titles. So,
That
but
was a
they are.
gacha game, right?
Yes, Honkai
So
Impact is an action RPG gacha
thank
game.
you for all the whales. You
Yes,
helped funded this
I
game.
think the whales that love the waifus of Honkai Impact has funded this the way for Genshin Impact to release on almost all our major platforms. I think I need to edit our article because I mentioned it as an MMO. Anyway, so that's our weekly news recap. That's a long news recap because
Actually,
it's a
there's
week and a half.
there's one more.
Okay,
There's one
go
more.
ahead, Long Panda.
So I'm going to let Jebol handle this, but then there's an update with Ghosts of Tsushima.
Oh yes, I forgot. I'm sorry about that. Yes.
Is
We
that the
do.
multiplayer?
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so there's a multiplayer update coming to Ghosts of Tsushima,
Go go ahead, Jabol. Take
and
it away.
should be
And
very interesting. So
Mongo, you
actually,
can
Jebol knows a lot more about this.
Okay, anyway, we're back online. I'm sorry, I think my internet got cut. So we were talking about news, a little bit of news I missed. So it's something related to Ghost of Tsushima. I will be placing that on to Jebol, who has played the game, and our review is coming up in a few days. Go ahead, Jebol.
Okay, so in addition to a incredible single player campaign, a free update is coming to Ghost of Tsushima on fall 2020, which is called Ghost of Tsushima Legends, which is basically
Legends.
multiplayer co-op. So it, it's called Legends because it focuses on legends from the tales of the people of Tsushima, and instead of the grounded samurai experience you get from the single player campaign, this is more of a mystical adventure that focuses on Japanese folklore and mythology. Um, as far as I know, it's not gonna be open world, but mission based and level based structures.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, there's four classes or the four legends, which is the samurai, hunter, ronin, and assassin, all with their own advantages and mystical abilities, as you can see from the trailer. And there's basically three modes uh, to Legends, which is the first is the co-op story missions, which is it can be explained. It's the story of this multiplayer portion. Next is survival missions, which is the classic. wave-based survive until you die missions where you'll fight uh, oni or demons, as called in Japan, with their supernatural abilities. And the other is going to be added after the launch of Legends, which are four-player raids. So you're gonna go to a new realm to challenge a big enemy since it is a raid. So there's no announcement when it will come exactly. It just says fall
Fall
2020.
2020.
So you can look forward to that.
I think I
With
know. Oh, sige,
sure.
go ahead, Kwepoy.
With when it comes to the gameplay, since it focuses more on the mystical aspects of the Japanese folklore, uh, will it change how it plays since the gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima is grounded in reality? Will it
Um,
have skills? Will it have what? Kung ano man.
when I saw
Trailer.
the short snippets of gameplay in the trailer, it still uses the same grounded combat moves from the game. However, there's like mystical elements added. There's
Yeah.
no exact details as to how the mystical elements are gonna incorporate it. However, I saw like the bow glowing and being all spirit like. So we will have to know soon in the future.
Okay.
I think there will be skills because it is a class based system. So I expect that the four different classes will have different play styles and skills. So I know now why uh it was Blue Protocol. I thought Genshin Impact was Blue Protocol. So Blue Protocol was the MMO, the hotly anticipated MMO because they have this. I think
Yes.
because they're both anime themed that I got them confused with one
I
another.
think
Which is,
wala pa rin atang balita sa
yeah, there's still no
Blue, Rip Blue Protocol.
no update on Blue Protocol. But there you have it. I think that's why I got it confused with Genshin Impact. Right, so I think that would be our news recap. So it took us an hour. So if you just want to skip all through that, we will put segments on over our podcast. So